Hi folks, hope you're doing well. So, yes, last two videos, design recognition and designing love, or hungering for. Both of those things are really very, very much from the soul, not from the spirit. So you've got to understand that there will always be a battle going on between your soul and your spirit. Your soul will be your emotions, your feelings. And the thing of it is that before you come to God, your soul was in charge. For most people, that would be the case. Your soul was absolutely and totally in charge. You went by feelings. You went by everything you did was about pleasing your feelings, making yourself feel better. You know, the music you listen to, the movies you watch, they were all things that made you feel good. The alcohol you drink. And the type of church you go to. See, I mean, the point of it is, I've listened to Chris, I can't remember his second name now, but yeah, the chap who does the video about sons of God and all that sort of stuff. But he talks about there being different types of churches and people being, wanting to go to different types of churches. That's all down to soul. It's got nothing to do at all with spirit. But he's saying that that's okay when it isn't. The point of it is it isn't. Because when you first come, if your soul is in charge, that's okay. You belong to the world in your understanding, so therefore, your spirit wouldn't be that strong because your spirit is what connects you to God. Obviously, it would be quite weak at that point in time. It is naturally going to be. The whole point of church, they're supposed to focus on spirit. Right? What they learned to do in the 60s, or 50s and 60s, was from worldly speakers, speakers for big companies. They learned how these speakers would make people feel happy and feel good. That when they walked out, that was nice. We had a few laughs and the information was good, clear, easy to understand. And they realised if we can just do that, if we can do that, if we can have that sort of, then that'd be good. Yeah. And that's why we have pastors that are very, very much focused on the soul, focused on how people feel. And that's why this whole point of, they won't say something that's offensive, that people could take as offensive. That's all soul. That's all serving the soul. That's why I say, basically, they're keeping people in that situation that when they first gave their life to God, they belonged to the world. They still do. Because their spirit has never been fed. And in the majority of churches, that is the case. Their spirit has never been fed. Because if your spirit is fed, then you're not led by what you feel comfortable with or what you feel good about. You're not led by that. You're led by your spirit. Most people in church are not led by their spirit in any way, shape or form. They do things because of the fact it makes them look good. I said that's why you've got these good little Christians, because it makes them look good in the eyes of not just the church but the world as well. They get a pat on the back because they volunteer for the children's ministry. They volunteer to do the teas and coffees. They volunteer to greet people. When there's a church event, they volunteer. Oh, well done, you're so good. But that's what they do it for, the pats on the back. But they've had their reward. Have they not? Look at the word of God. Look at when Yeshua is talking about the Jewish people like that. He says they've had their reward. Why would you want to have your reward now and it be a pat on the back from people? Well, the reality is, most people, they don't know that that's not supposed to be the case. They think it's all about, church is about making them feel good. No, it isn't. It's about helping you to understand that how you feel is temporal. And it changes based upon whether you have a bit of chocolate, whether you have your cup of tea. Yeah, whether you listen to that song that calms you down. That's all temporal. What isn't is truth. Truth doesn't change. It's not temporal. It is what it is. Who you are doesn't change. You can give your life to the world. It doesn't change the fact that you're supposed to be a son. That's still there. You buried it, but it's still there. It's still truth. So yeah, the reality is, as I say, unfortunately speaking, most of the people there won't receive what God is doing now. They won't. And I said, why? Because obviously, if by faith you have the belief, you have the understandings that you have now, and you've stood by that, you've trusted in God for all those years, based upon your understandings. Now, as I say, if you have been in a church that focuses on building the soul and not the spirit, your understanding of God is going to be wrong. Right? Of course it is. I say this whole idea that we should just go to church and wait and then God's going to bring revival one day. Yeah. That's not of God, that's demonic. That's not in the Word of God, that. It's not written down anywhere. In Revelations it says, the bride will make herself ready. It doesn't say God does it, it says the bride does it. So, yeah. I say, unfortunately speaking, most people aren't going to be part of God's kingdom. And yeah. Well, so look, the reality is the purpose of hell as a horrific place, it won't be that horrific to the people that have been part of the world and never had any knowledge or desire for God. It won't be that horrific for them. But for those people that have been in church for 20, 30, 40 years and played church, it's going to be far more horrific for them. Yeah. That's the reality. And I feel for those people, but in the end, people make their choices. They do. And I know that my job isn't to focus on those people. My job is to focus on the people that will come. Because it's insanity to focus on the people that won't. You're just going to end up in depression and disappointment continually. So yeah, you focus on those that can finish the race. Anyway, there you go. So, start building the spirit. The soul is big and strong and ugly. That needs to go. That needs to weaken while the spirit strengthens. So I wish you well with that. You take care. God bless. Bye bye.